DoA and I are coming down on opposite sides of Spider-Noir this week. DoA, as I understood, enjoyed this show.
I very much did. Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed it a lot less than DoA did.
This should be interesting.
Yeah,
we haven't told each other our reasons yet.
I'm a big film noir fan. So, it's what you think it is. It's a intentionally hokey, silly, fun Spider-Man film noir show, which is with Nicolas Cage, whom I love. All of these things are fine. And I was actually really into the premise of this show, DoA, especially because I went back and I rewatched Into the Spider-Verse before I watched this show. And I was amped up for it because I remembered Into the Spider-Verse is really good. It's just a really good movie.
Yeah, it is.
And I love what they did with it. I love that they included Nicolas Cage as this Spider-Noir character. So I was quite optimistic. However, my experience of watching this show was a lot less fun than the concept introduced Into the Spider-Verse.
That's so interesting. Before we dive into it, though, I feel like the first thing we should talk about, and this is like we haven't really shared our feelings on the show with each other yet, except for one thing. We did talk about color versus black and white. Now, I watched it in black and white completely. I didn't touch the color at all. I saw like a trailer in color or whatever, but I wanted to see it in black and white. And I thought they did a fantastic job with the black and white. Just the hard lighting, but then they did like really good things where they would like subtly like soft, bright but soft light the edges of someone's face, in a certain scene and all that. They did a great job, using mirrors and all that throughout the show, which I suppose comes through in color as well. But I think the stark contrast of black and white made it work. They gave it like a real depth that I feel like a lot of shows and movies that try to do this just kind of blow out the contrast and they're like, there, it's black and white now. But there was like a ton of care put into this. And I watched a little bit before I recorded this about that because I was curious how they did it, if they shot it in color and then, changed it. But it turns out that the way they were able to make the black and white have so much depth is because of the dawn of LED lights and the great like micro adjustments you can do on the brightness of those and how bright they can go. So they had like a very, very customizable palette of light and dark. And I think they did a great job of using it. So yeah, I loved it in black and white. Let's hear about your color experience. And if you watched
I like
a little
the
bit in
look
black
of
and white
this
too.
show. I think the color, I watched it mostly in color. The reason why I didn't watch it in black and white was it wasn't about the lighting, which I found to be quite good. It was that since I'm used to watching old film noir movies, it really was the kind of lack of film grain, and it was like too sharp, so it felt really weird to me to watch it. But
I was the opposite on that. I feel it doesn't need the film grain at all because we're kind of seeing an evolution
felt like
of
too digital.
black and white.
I don't know. It didn't feel like analog enough. But look,
it doesn't need
I understand
to look analog.
that
we're
they
evolving
did
the thing.
I didn't like it. But I understand that the lighting was good. And so I watched the color, which I think they did an awesome job with the color too. Like the richness of the tones and everything. I think it was excellent. I think it looked really good. So I think the look of this show is not the problem at all. In fact, I think the look of this show is absolutely spectacular. Like the sets and the costumes, the environments, everything looks so lush and rich. I love what they're doing with all of the art deco of the period. It's really a beautiful show. And that's probably the single best thing about it, in my opinion. It's just that they absolutely nailed the world that it's in. And also, I will say this, it's really unusual to have a film noir set in New York City. So it was very fun for me to see actually New York during this kind of alternate universe 1920s Prohibition period film noir, because that is just it's
like
just
33
not,
I think it's in or something.
Yeah,
although Prohibition would have been over by then, right?
No, yeah, 29 was when Prohibition ended, but it's an alternate universe, so who the hell knows, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong. I thought, Prohibition ended in 29.
I wasn't alive then, despite what some people may think. But yeah, their Prohibition.
33. It ended in 33.
Oh, okay. So because they were talking about the end of Prohibition coming and kind of being inevitable. Okay, so this was set right before the end of Prohibition in this alternate universe.
Yeah. So in any case, it could have been longer. It doesn't really matter. But the storyline hinges on the fact that Prohibition is in play because it's the classic, like, gangster has the money and the power because he's controlling the flow of booze, which is how this is the reason why Prohibition ended, was they realized that you can make alcohol in a bathtub undetectably. And so how do you stop people from making it or importing it? And instead, all you get are organized crime lords who then have way too much money and power.
Yeah.
And so it's just not feasible to ban alcohol unless, of course, you do the thing where having alcohol is a capital punishment. Then people won't do it. But, if you're not willing to go to that length, it's very hard to stop people from having alcohol.
Side note, there's a Ken Burns documentary on Prohibition, which is fantastic. So if anyone is curious about that era, it's a really fun watch.
Yeah. So yeah, this time period was great and the look was great. The fact that it was a film noir in New York, which is highly unusual because most film noirs take place in Los Angeles or San Francisco. That's just kind of the
What about Chicago? There are a lot of gangsters in Chicago, right?
But this is film noir, man. Film noir is primarily a California setting. That's just how it rolls.
We need a Milwaukee film noir or Minneapolis.
Nope. No? Definitely don't need that. Nobody cares.
There are a lot of gangsters in the upper Midwest.
Interesting. Anyway, nobody wants to watch a Milwaukee film noir. Comment below if you hate Milwaukee.
Yeah, you're sleeping with the walleye now. Hey,
but
say hi to the muskellunge for me. Some Great Lakes humor for you there.
They could do a lot of stuff with New York City in this one, which I appreciated. And also, they did a lot with New York culture, right? During the period, the Irish mobsters, which were a hallmark of New York City, the kind of accents that you get, the culture that you get. Anyway, so I found that all very fun.
Yeah, it was
the
great.
setting was great.
Yeah. There you go. And yet you didn't like this show, apparently. Nope. So is it the most obviously polarizing thing that I think some people die? Is it Nicolas Cage?
No.
Okay. That's because I know some people are like, oh, he's too crazy, he's too zany. It's like, well, first of all, that's kind of like the way he plays things. And also it worked perfectly for this character specifically because this character is a little bit off. This character has gone through some trauma and is also part spider and an alcoholic. So he's going to be a little bit, outside the norm as far as behavior goes.
He's the king of playing alcoholic characters from Leaving Las Vegas and Mandy, right? Like,
sure.
This guy, I love Nicolas Cage. We did a Nicolas Cage arc on this channel on the other show, Foreplay.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Nicolas Cage, even at his most ridiculous. I love the fact that, he is just an excellent actor in films like Leaving Las Vegas or Adaptation, and then he can ham it up with the best of them in Con Air, right? His ridiculous Southern accent. I really like National Treasure, honestly. Like I'm a sucker for that.
It's just a fun, dumb adventure movie, right? Like it's perfectly fine to like National Treasure. And it spawned several sequels too.
But the thing about him in this one is that he actually, I think, is what the entire show should be, which is that he hams it up. He's doing some really weird impersonation of, it's like if Humphrey Bogart was impersonating Jimmy Stewart. So it's really odd. But he kind of like looked at film noir and he just decided to be like this amalgamation of like Humphrey Bogart from The Maltese Falcon and Jimmy Stewart from Vertigo. And it's really funny. And I think it pays respect to the history.
Yeah.
While also
doing
being
the noir voice,
very weird.
Which is good. Yeah. I mean, like, and let's face it, like the vast majority of viewers out there know what noir is. They might have an idea about what noir should look like, but have they gone back and watched a lot of that stuff? Have they watched Casablanca and all that? Probably not. Also, I suppose Casablanca wasn't really set in New York either. There's another one for your list, but
it also wasn't film noir, but that's fine.
Oh, wasn't it? It was a black and white movie. I don't know.
Okay,
the start of
what you think film noir means.
My favorite film noir was the start of The Wizard of Oz before she got to Neverland and went to color. It was great. Tornado, Great Plains noir before that. Anyway,
I love Casablanca.
I've proven my own point where most of us haven't gone back there and become experts on the noir film style. We just know what noir kind of is. And so we're like, yeah, that looks noir to me, which is good enough for me, which maybe is part of why I enjoyed it. But there's nothing wrong with that. I
So
shouldn't need to take a course to decide if I like something or not.
this is all to say that it wasn't Nicolas Cage's performance. I think Nicolas Cage's performance is appropriately cheesy. It's an appropriate homage to classic film noir actors. It's you can't play this role straight. He's a fucking Spider-Man, you know? It's like
Yeah.
he nails the tone. So I really actually quite like Nicolas Cage in this. The problem that I have, the primary problem is that Spider-Noir is very weird tonally. And it's also way too modern in certain ways. And so I feel very strong good things about the performances and dialogue of Nicolas Cage. Brendan Gleeson, who is fantastic in this, is Silver Zane.
Good in everything, though. So
yeah, I mean, Brendan Gleeson's
just there. Yeah, he's just
an amazing Irish actor. But like, he is so good in this. And also, I really liked Lee Jun Lee as Kat Hardy.
Yeah,
and for me, the scenes with them are awesome, and I love seeing all three of these characters interact with each other. The problem comes, and I don't think it's the actor's fault. I honestly think a lot of it is the writing. But the performance is particularly by his secretary, Janet Ruiz, who's the actress Karen Rodriguez, and Lamorne Morris as his reporter friend, Robbie. The issue is that there is a ton of modern dialogue, like contemporary dialogue within this show, mostly from these two characters. And so they end up feeling really strangely out of place because especially the secretary character is using sometimes modern slang. She's dropping like into her sentences. They are using modern idioms a lot of the time. And this is a show that is supposed to be set in the early 30s. And so because the aesthetic doesn't match the language that you're used to seeing from this period, I find it really, really jarring. And I find both of these characters very out of place. And so I just had such whiplash going from scene to scene where their cute little modern friends banter in the office with Nicolas Cage. It just feels like these are characters from like different scripts, and it's very odd.
You know, I was not bothered by that, which is strange because that's something that usually would bother me. So I do wonder now why I wasn't bothered by that, because you're absolutely right. I do remember that from watching it. And like, I think that's a valid criticism. I think if you want it to be, you know, even as far as like being very true to like the dialogue of the time, yeah, that they definitely did go more modern. Yeah, I think you're right.
Like,
I guess it just didn't bother me. But
it's stuff
like
right. Ruiz is saying, you know, getting plastered, which I don't think is an expression from the time.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Didn't they use plaster back then? Wait, let's look it up. Hold on, let's look it up.
But regardless, all of the dialogue is very slangy and it's very casual, and it has a lot of modern idioms and tics in it. As I said, saying like in the middle of a sentence, which is just obviously something that came from Valley Girls in the 90s.
Oh, Monty.
You know?
I've got some bad news for you.
It was used at the time.
Getting plastered very much did date back to the early 1900s. It first appeared in print between like 1902 and 1912. So it would have been in the vernacular.
Depends on how common it was, but the way it's delivered also a lot of the time, because the other strange thing is that it has the Jimmy Stewart, Humphrey Bogart delivery of Nicolas Cage, but it's the cadence and speaking styles of Ruiz and Robbie that are very, very contemporary.
I just, for those two characters, I guess I found them the least interesting because I felt like they had the least sort of like fully developed character personalities. Like,
yes,
both
they were
characters,
shitty comic relief.
Yeah, I mean, like I know we had like a pretty decent story arc with Robbie, with the him trying to get back to the paper and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know, like that storyline, I felt like
that was such a useless subplot, man. It went nowhere.
It came close to kind of like being interesting, I think, from time to time, because it was sort of like, oh, he's wrestling with this thing that he really, really wants versus being true to his friend and all that. But I don't know, it kind of seemed, the drama kind of seemed artificial. And
Yes.
him kind of having that singular motivation. Like I said, for those two characters didn't feel quite as fleshed out. Like, again, I really like the show a lot, and none of this stuff really bothered me. But I think I don't think you're wrong for like picking those to criticize. I think that's
I mean,
probably
I
that
find it
probably is the weakest
extremely.
part of the
I
show.
find it extremely distracting, and I find these characters to be mostly useless. And also, it really pumps up. It inflates the length of the show to have their really ridiculous and unnecessary plot arcs as well. But I just felt like each scene was so inconsistent compared to the next scene, and
Right.
that the tone just didn't match at all. The dialogue didn't match at all. The way that the performances didn't even match. You know, you can have Robbie and Ruiz as their own show if everybody's doing that. But it just feels like Nicolas Cage and Lee Jun Lee and Brendan Gleeson like really committed to this one classic film noir style.
Hmm.
Even if it was cartoony, it was an exaggerated version of that, obviously, right? You know,
Well, the show also centers around the three of them too. So
yes,
it's
but
definitely why it got the most, like, writing energy put to it, probably, and everything too. But
these other characters are not film noir characters is the problem. Not
Yeah.
even exaggerated ones.
Which-
These are contemporary tropes that are shoved into this show, and it's weird.
Which, again, like, I'll say it again, it didn't bother me at all when I watched it. But I can totally recognize what you're saying, but it didn't bug me one bit. That said, I think the greater problem with these two characters extends to some of the other superpowered characters in the show too, which is where we've got a little bit of the Spider-Man 3 problem here, where you've got too many character arcs going on. And even
Yes.
though this is like an 8-episode series or something like that, it still felt like a little bit too much, to the point where, like, they introduce Electro, and, like, we don't, he's kind of a one-note character, and then, like,
I mean, Tombstone can be 100% deleted from this show and nothing changes, because Marco is the more interesting. Sandman is the more interesting arc because he has the relationship with Kat Hardy, the femme fatale.
Mhm.
So Tombstone is just completely useless. Completely.
Which one was Tombstone again? Tombstone?
The other guy that they could, the other mutant guy who was really strong that they couldn't hurt.
Lonnie Lincoln. He was supposed to be the
Yeah.
crocodile, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah, I think it was because he looked kind of reptilian when he trained. I think he was supposed to be the crocodile.
No, he's Tombstone. He's Tombstone.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know Tombstone. I don't even know that Batman villain, Spider-Man villain, whatever. I don't know that masked hero villain type person. But either way, like, but I think I liked the idea of what was going on there, that you would have this relationship between these people that were, prisoner of war and got the superpowers, and now are on kind of find themselves kind of on the other side of the law and all that. Like, I like the setup for all of that. But again, I just feel like it didn't get enough time, where I agree that you could, like, remove one of them and then, like, save them for another season or something, right? Which goes back to the Spider-Man 3 problem, which is where we had a Green Goblin and Sandman and Venom, and Spider-Man becoming a bad guy kind of for a little while too, or at least very emo, but and doing a great dance number and creating many, many memes. But, it was too much for one movie, and I think that was too many different characters that deserved more time that didn't get it. I do think the show suffered a little bit there. I think they managed to hold it all together, but it was tenuous sometimes, and they could have, like you said, cut one or two of those characters and then fleshed out the others more. That is true.
They also try and do too much with the plot. The number of, like, betrayals and reversals is kind of ridiculous by the end, and especially the fact that Kat Hardy loves Sandman and then loves Nicolas Cage and then just gets back with, I mean, it's so fucking ridiculous. She's like, in another world we would have worked out. I'm like, okay, but why are you back? It's never really clear why she was interested in Marco/Sandman in the first place. And then she ditches him so quickly, by the way, for Ben Reilly, aka the Spider. And then she just ditches Ben Reilly and goes back to him.
I think her character, her true love was killed, remember? And so I think she's just looking for love in all the wrong places. You know, she just has that desire to be with someone and to feel affection, because she lives in such a cold, you know, kind of situation where it's just Silvermane, and she's just in his club, and he's creepy, and you know, she's singing, which she likes, but like she just wants that special someone, and has a hard time picking him in the world she's been thrown into. So I get it. It makes a little bit of sense. I think the way they handled it was a little bit kind of like, okay, well, you know, the motivations didn't necessarily seem strong enough to have such big shifts episode to episode.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
But again, like there is a lot of that in this show where like good ideas and like executed well enough, but it's like right on the edge of being like not good. I think it was still all good, but it was close to not.
I think it was not good, in fact.
No, because like all of this stuff happened, and yet I still enjoyed it, you know. And I never ended an episode being
all
like,
this stuff happened,
dumb,
and yet I didn't enjoy it. So,
well, maybe one of us is just too into classic noir and wasn't ready for the evolution of the genre, you know.
This is definitely not the evolution of the genre.
You don't think the Spider-Noir? It's got noir in the title, Monty. I don't know what more you want.
No. You know, this is. I wish they would have just stuck with a more straightforward plot. You can have the knife in the back. You can have the twists. You can have the double crossing. That's all fine. But this show just tries to jam too much in. And then also the number of additional subplots that are introduced is fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's the Spider-Man 3 problem. Yep.
Like the fact that he gets captured and taken to the hospital and then operated on and then
totally
released.
Forgot about that. There's the doctor stuff too.
I enjoyed the fact that they made the origin story that he was bitten by an actual Spider-Man.
Yes, that was great.
Who was the subject of a German experiment in World War I. That was perfect because it was ridiculous, it was hokey, it was surprising,
and it gave him a good reason for why his powers were stable and the others weren't. The others weren't, because he was essentially one generation farther in the evolution of power. Yeah,
so I actually loved that setup. I thought that setup was fantastic. But the problem is that you can introduce the cure in a more artful way than having this absurd kidnapping plot that takes up like an episode and a half and is just deeply stupid.
Yeah. It was entertaining though. It was. The show
just doesn't respect your time. And it adds so many layers of this nonsense that it's very hard to get into.
It's very gleeful about the way that it like throws in different like, ooh, look at this character. Ooh, look at this character. I think they knew they were putting in too much stuff, and they were kind of trying to have it carried by the entertainment value of the individual scenes, which for the most part really did work. But yeah, I had totally even forgotten about that subplot. Hey, we haven't even talked about Frankie, the newsboy, the little kid. You know, who's he's on the streets, but he's got a heart of gold, that kid. And maybe someday he'll learn to read words and become a successful human being. But
why is he even in here?
Because,
by the way,
he's
it's
a trope
more
that
wasted.
they decide
it's
to
more
throw in.
wasted time. What was the point of showing? By the way, they literally waste time showing us Ruiz teaching him, and then they never come back to that DoA by the end.
Yeah,
does he ever learn how to go to school? We don't know.
Well, it would be, they would have, the way you make that pay off is then he finds like one of the thugs like drops a note or something, and he finds it and he's like, kill Ben. Oh no, I have to use
exactly. But they don't do anything with it, DoA.
No, they don't. Yep. Instead, it's just a heartwarming scene where a kid learns to read, kind of. But I think they want to include a lot of noir tropes, right? Which the lovable street scamp is kind of one of those tropes, right? Where the little lovable urchin is just trying to make a. Yeah, I mean, you see it in a lot of old movies, Yeah.
It's like Newsies, man. It's not
right.
Film noir.
It's a Newsies film noir.
Like I don't really understand the purpose of that character.
When he's spinning on that ceiling fan, that would look very noir to me.
This message is sponsored by Raycon, and we're really happy to have Raycon as a sponsor here on Nerd Legion. Remember, supporting our sponsors is the best way to support our show. And if you're out and about this summer, perhaps you like jogging through the park, but you still want to hear the bird song and the glorious sounds of nature around you, you may want Raycon's essential open earbuds. These wrap around your ears and sit on the outside of your ear canal. They're very secure. I've used them to work out previously, and I haven't had any problems with them slipping off whatsoever. And you can listen to your favorite podcasts like Nerd Legion here or your favorite music while you're out this summer. So you guys can check those out. If you want something that goes inside your ear canal and has active noise cancellation, well, the essential everyday earbuds are probably the models for you. They come in a ton of colors, not just the black here, really unique ones as well, so you can show off your style. These also have an awareness mode. A lot of the features that you would get on much more expensive earbuds with excellent sound quality. And the reason they're cheaper is because they sell them directly to you. And they've had over 3 million happy customers. They also have a 30-day guarantee. So if you don't like them for whatever reason, you can go ahead and return them. They've got lots more besides the essential open earbuds and the everyday earbuds. Check out their site at buyraycon.com. So go to buyraycon.com/nerdlegionopen to get 15% off. And thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring our show. But yeah, I was confused by some of these things. The only reason why I'm glad that we got the weird doctor episode was because the son is played by Andrew Robinson, who played Garrick in Deep Space Nine, who's instantly recognizable.
That's right.
By
That's
the way.
right.
His voice is just, I was just like,
that's right.
But that's the only reason I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I when I saw him, I'm like, that guy looks so familiar. I didn't realize it because I'm not as big of a DS9 fan as you. But then I looked it up afterwards and I'm like, oh, it was Garrick. Yeah,
it was Garrick.
Yeah,
use Garrick better. Is all I'm saying.
Deep Space Nine connection. It's the 35th anniversary this year of The Rocketeer being released,
which is a banger movie.
Yeah, and so I watched it the other day because I like that movie, and I noticed the gangster that dies at the beginning of the movie. Or no, he doesn't die at the beginning of the movie. He goes to the hospital, and then he gets like folded in half by the big guy. But that's the same actor that plays Nog in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's another DS9 actor
who unfortunately died very young.
Is it or no? The
Aaron Eisenberg died. Yeah.
Who's not the kid? Rom?
Rom, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Wrong.
His dad.
Wrong. Yeah, Rom, not Nog. My bad. Yep. Because this was made in the early 90s, so he would have been a kid.
Maybe we should do a show for the 35th anniversary of The Rocketeer. DoA.
I do. I love
That's
that movie.
It's a good movie. I watched it a couple years ago. It's still good.
Great film noir. It's that movie is awesome though. Actually, like watching it again, I was like, I love this movie. I don't know why it did not do as well as it did. Let's do it. We'll talk about The Rocketeer soon. We should.
But not next show. That's going to be House of the Dragon, obviously, guys. So but maybe in a couple weeks.
Soon.
But in any case, like the casting in this, outside of my complaints with, like I said, I don't even think it's the actors. I don't think the actors are bad. I just think that the writing and direction was bad for those characters, unfortunately. And I'm not sure anybody could have saved that, because the dialogue itself, I think, is the primary issue. And the fact that the director, I assume, was trying to get these performances that felt very contemporary out of them, which is just such a tonal clash. But I think, the supporting cast does a very good job in this show. For the most part, the acting doesn't take me out of it. I had a fun time at points. It was really just the length of the show, DoA, that really dragged it down, because it has the problem of both nothing happening and then too much happening.
Yeah. It's I don't know.
Because the thing is that they keep trying to create twists where it's like, ooh, who does Silvermane think is the mole? Oh, it's this person. Oh no, we dodged that one. Now it's this person, etc. So it's literally like the same plot point for like 6 hours, but it just changes and is never really resolved until the very, very end.
I wonder if this would be worse if you just watched it all as like 1 or 2 big sittings, because I would watch like an episode or two, per night or so. I didn't like no life it or anything. So I wonder if
that's what
that
I
would
did
change
too,
it.
and it still annoyed me.
I don't know. I think the setting and the performances really just like drew me in, especially like Nicolas Cage. And I think it made me forgiving or else completely unaware of a lot of things that normally would have bothered me. Because the dialogue thing, especially the inserting modern dialogue into like what should be a period piece,
But it's
does
also some of the
usually bother me a
directorial
lot.
choices. So remember, and it gets worse as the show goes on. So remember when at the very end, he reveals to Ruiz that he is the spider.
Yeah.
And then it goes into this quirky montage of him being drunk a million times before.
That was really funny. What are you talking about?
But it's not tonally consistent with the rest of the show. It's not that it's bad in isolation, DoA.
Sure.
It's that it doesn't match the tone of the show.
But I think the whole
problem.
The show is tonally inconsistent. I think you can't.
No, you can't just say that. That doesn't make any sense. You can't just say the tone is it doesn't have a tone.
It does because the way that Nicolas Cage plays this character is already on its own tonally inconsistent with the world that this character is in, you know?
I disagree with that.
Opens the door. Well, that's my point on it. That opens the door, I think, for big tonal shifts. And I don't think the show really takes itself super seriously. I think it does at times, you know.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that type of Family Guy cutaway gag humor reads as incredibly modern.
Yeah, but I don't think the show is trying to be like a pure recreation of noir filmmaking.
I don't think it is, but surely you can come up with a better way to make humor than that.
I don't know. I thought it was really funny. I didn't mind it one bit. I don't mind that cutaway thing because we're already doing kind of like sight gags in the show from time to time and like, you know, jump scares and things like that. So yeah, that didn't bother me at all. I didn't have a problem with it.
Just lines up with the very modern dialogue that's just randomly inserted in here. And, you know, you don't hear that from Brendan Gleeson's character. That's what's so weird about this.
Mm-hmm. That is weird. Yeah. I didn't really think about it until now, but it is weird that didn't bother me. But all I can say is that it just didn't bother me at all, which again, I'm repeating myself a lot, but like usually that particular thing bugs me. But so now I'm like really curious why it didn't bug me with this. I think I was so taken with the look of the show and I was so taken with like a lot of the performances that it just made me not notice stuff like that this time, which is kind of a neat achievement. I don't think a show has really done that, you know, for me for a while. Cause like, you know, I could recognize the failings of the show, but you know, I will also recommend it to anyone, say I thoroughly enjoyed it from beginning to end.
My problem is that I don't really see a reason to watch this show. And that's why I couldn't recommend it.
You're crazy.
That's why I can't recommend it because you're literally committing to 8 45-minute episodes. And at the end, I'm like, did I enjoy this more than a Spider-Man movie? And the answer is no.
Well, which Spider-Man movie? Hey, there's large
but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Movies.
I can watch 6 hours of better Spider-Man movies than this, including the movies that Spider-Noir is in, which is Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, and also 2 of the 3 Sam Raimi movies. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then the next question is, do I enjoy this more than film noir? And the answer is obviously I don't. You know,
well, I think you're a particular fan of film noir, and so that's a you thing.
Watch neo noir. Watch LA Confidential. Is it better than Sin City? The answer is no.
This is Spider-Noir, Monty. It's a whole new version of noir. It's like I said, it's in the title. It's Spider-Noir.
But even if you want something that is comic book noir, Sin City is just better than this. So I really just struggle to understand why I would recommend using time on this particular series as opposed to any other way to watch any of these things. It's just literally worse than all of them.
But what if you wanted something that was like a combination of them?
Combination of what? Of
Spider-Man and Spider-Man. What if we called it Spider-Noir?
But I have Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, which is already a pastiche.
About Spider-Noir. That's something that Spider-Noir is in, you know?
But I'm just saying, if I want to if I want a bunch of spider men that are from different, and spider women who are spider people from different universes, then I can just watch that.
But what if you just want one spider person who is a private eye and has a little gangster related adventure, and what if you just want to live? I think here's the real thing, is that it's just a fun universe to be in. And so even if some of the plots are repetitive and the twists are repetitive and some of the things don't quite land, I think the real enjoyment is just being in that world with these characters. And so,
with some of the characters.
Sure, but most of the some of the characters written better than others, but I didn't dislike
the problem is
any of the
a third
characters.
of the scenes in this show suck. It's like
a third?
It's like 33% of the scenes just suck. And 33% are really good, and then you just spend the other 33% of mid scenes just being mad that it's not good. That's how I felt watching it.
I would agree that 30% of the scenes in the show are not very good, but I would say the remaining 70% of the scenes in this show are mid to great, and more great than mid. So that lets me forgive the other 30% pretty easily. So I just wanted
to watch more Brendan Gleeson. That's what I wanted.
Well, I'm sure there's other
fantastic in this
stuff he's in. You go back and watch Braveheart or something. I'm trying to remember what he's in.
I mean, Braveheart's terrible, but sure.
Well, he's not the star.
I mean, I believe you mean In Bruges and the Banshees of Inisherin, which are both fantastic.
Sure. Maybe those two. I don't think we've been this divided on a piece of media in a while. This is a rare treat.
I mean,
I think Spider-Noir debate.
I just think it doesn't hang together, man. Like, and that's like I said, at the end of the day, I just really struggled to understand why I would ever watch this again. I don't understand in what context I could possibly recommend this to someone.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I can't really say that any of your points are wrong, but I can say that those points are very influenced by your personal preferences, which I think if other people have very similar preferences to movies and have this special affinity for noir, they would probably be bothered by the same things. Whereas I think most people don't have that level of experience with that genre. They just kind of know the basics of it, and they like to see Nicolas Cage.
Screw noir. I'd rather just watch other Spider-Man movies. Take noir out of this. I would literally rather watch a bunch of other Spider-Man movies than watch this again.
I think I like this better than the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. And I have nothing against Tom Holland or that Spider-Man. I think those are great, but it's kind of apples to oranges, right? It's like, sure, it's the characters got the same name, but like the styles are intentionally very different. They're going for different things, But I think I would prefer to watch this over the newer Spider-Man films.
I have not seen the Tom Holland Spider-Man film, so I will not opine.
I've got a feeling you would probably agree with me.
I mean, I think I probably would too. That's
I
fair.
will say they're on the better side of the MCU spectrum. But
here's the thing, though. I'm also not recommending those movies. Here's what I recommend: the two Spider-Verse movies, and the first two Sam Raimi movies with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
I recommend those.
I think those are good recommendations,
and they are all better than this.
I think if you're looking for something to watch in black and white, which is there's not a ton of stuff, and sure, there's stuff out there, but if you want to watch something in black and white that isn't very serious, because most stuff that's in black and white is very serious.
There were comedies that were made in black and white. Don't. What are you?
Not recently. Not recently. If you want something more modern,
watch The Lighthouse. Just watch The fucking Lighthouse.
Is that a comedy?
I mean, it's pretty funny.
I don't
it's
think
a dark
that's a
comedy.
But my point is that
I struggled to see how you could not find Willem Dafoe hilarious in The White House, but okay.
The White House? I mean,
The Lighthouse.
Oh, okay. You said The White House there, and now I'm thinking like Willem Dafoe, President of the United States. But hey, at this point, I'd take anyone. I'd take Spider-Noir. Spider-Noir is my president. I take Frankie. At least he's learning to read. But yeah, I think Spider-Noir succeeded in being unique and out there and different and fun and Nicolas Cage is super entertaining, and like the way his like weird jerky motions are clearly emulating like this. He even talks about it in the show, the spider hydraulic system instead of muscles. Like he's he's given, and the
He
thing
is
is,
hilarious in this.
Nicolas
To be fair.
Cage has given decades of thought to how Spider-Man should act, because there are interviews with the show where, hold on, let me find the quote. And he said almost the same quote in multiple interviews. I went and watched some interviews with him and some of the other actors before this, and in multiple interviews, he brought this up, that he was in the running way back in the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie to play Green Goblin, which, you know, Willem Dafoe did great. I think Nicolas Cage would have been entertaining too, but he didn't make the cut. But he says, again, in multiple interviews recently, he says that he told Sam Raimi, it would be really great if you had a scene where Spider-Man is alone in his room and he's moving around like a spider. And Sam Raimi was like, I don't think we're going to do that.
You know what's funny is that you would think that Sam Raimi would be the guy, you know, who would do that, because he was all about Evil Dead. He directed Evil Dead, right? So you would think Sam Raimi would be like, you're right, Nicolas Cage, I should do
that. Maybe. I don't know if it was studio pressure, but either way, he didn't want to do it with Spider-Man. But my point is that Nicolas Cage has been preparing this performance for decades.
I do love that.
Yeah.
I do love that.
It's great.
And look, I have loved, I'm not going to say Nicolas Cage's redemption arc, his bankruptcy arc. His bankruptcy arc has been
gotta pay for those dinosaur skeletons somehow, Monty.
And his castles, you know, because the thing about Nicolas Cage's bankruptcy is that it made him do a bunch of really weird movies. And look, most of them are bad. But, you know, we got The Color Out of Space. We got Pig. You know, what was the one he did with Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, right, right. He plays himself.
There have been some really good movies that have Mandy. We got Mandy out of it, by the way, which is the best one of all of them. But I think, you know, the Nicolas Cage being broke and having to do a billion movies has been really awesome, honestly. And he never would have done half of these films probably if he hadn't been broke. But I do think people rag on his acting, but if you watch the movies where he's trying to be a serious actor, Leaving Las Vegas adaptation, he's really good.
He's a great actor. Man.
The thing is that he's not afraid of being goofy and like hamming it up, and he knows when to do it. And so he is legitimately, I think, very good at this.
Yeah.
I wish it was just not.
He's worth the price of admission alone, I would say. It's
well, him. I mean, I think the three big characters all kill the roles.
Yeah,
I think Lee Jun Lee does a really good job as Kat Hardy being the femme fatale. I think Brendan Gleeson is incredible in this show. So those performances are all really well done.
The conversations between the three of them in the club are some of the best scenes in the show, for sure.
And also just the club is so cool.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. I love what they did with the cinematography when Kat Hardy is singing.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they devote a lot of time to the music, which is another huge part of this show. And another thing they did well. The atmosphere, the aura of the show is fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I can forgive a lot of this other stuff is I just like to be in this universe, you know? I enjoy being in this universe. I enjoy seeing the main three characters, doing their thing. And yeah, that's why it's an easy recommend for me. But
see, I'll say this, Noah. I wouldn't watch this and I wouldn't recommend it, but I would watch it again, I should say. But I would watch a season 2.
Okay. Sure. Because you could see that they could bring us back to that universe, iron out some of the details with too many characters, too many plot lines, kind of thing, and then produce something really tight. Yeah, I think that's totally possible. Yeah.
There's enough good here that I think they could fix a few of these things, and it could actually be done really well.
Yeah.
So, if they hit the reset button and they get another season of this show, and it does seem to be pretty popular.
Oh yeah, it got generally very positive reviews.
If they get the viewership and they can get a second season out of this, then I think that's an opportunity for them to fix a lot of the flaws and tighten things up and continue with what worked. And I think it could be very good. So I wouldn't I wouldn't shy away from watching a second season, weirdly. But I also would say that you shouldn't watch this show.
Yeah. I think
actually, here is the conditions of recommendation. I think if you have watched literally all of the things that are already better than this, and you just like film noir and Spider-Man, and you really want to spend your time doing this instead of watching the better stuff, then go ahead, I guess.
I think this movie is a spectacle, and you should watch it and enjoy it, and have a wonderful time in the Spider-Verse with Spider-Noir.
But yeah, I was bummed because, like I said, I had just watched Into the Spider-Verse again, and I was like, damn, this is. I was like pumped. I was really ready to like this show.
I feel like you took it too seriously. I think you brought along too many preconceived notions about what you wanted.
Nope. Because I didn't think the Spider-Noir was a serious character, obviously, in fucking Into the Spider-Verse, DoA. I wanted it to be campy. I just wanted it to be consistent in terms of its campiness, which it just isn't.
Sure.
And if you want to play into it, just be campy and be, like I said, Nicolas Cage, he's being campy. He is both doing an homage and a hilarious impersonation of the era. You know, by all means. Make fun of the movies. Make fun of the era. I'm into that. Make insider jokes to film noir of the past. Make light of it. Make it comedy. But do not put a bunch of trash modern dialogue and really bizarre contemporary performances in it.
Well, so let me ask you this. What is the best example of modern film noir?
How modern do you want?
Within the last 10 years.
Maybe the first season of The Expanse.
Oh, okay. Sure. I could see that. I wasn't expecting that. That's an interesting choice. Okay.
Obviously not past the first season.
I love the first couple seasons of that show. But yeah, you're right. It does change to kind of more space opera as time goes on. But the first season is very, very noir with I can't remember that character's name. Starts with a D? The private investigator. Yeah.
Yes.
It's been years since I've watched The Expanse, but I really enjoyed that show.
Yes. But yeah, I think that is quite a good representation of it.
Okay.
Let me think of some other ones real quick. Technically they'd be like neo-noirs, right?
Sure.
Because I think if you expand to the late 90s, it's definitely LA Confidential. I think LA Confidential may be the best noir movie of all time.
Okay. I'll have to watch that sometime.
There are a bunch of films though that fall into maybe Blade Runner 2049. Actually, that one may be the best one in the last 10 years.
It's a good call. These are all good things to watch, and then if you've gotten your fill, or before you've gotten your fill, you can watch Spider-Noir.
When was Blade Runner 2049? Okay, 2017. That falls into the last 10 years.
Yeah. Barely, man. What is going on?
The thing is that there's a bunch of films that I would list that are just outside of this.
Oh, okay. Period.
Nightcrawler is outside of that period.
We're not talking about the X-Men, by the way.
Looper?
Looper? You'd say Looper was noir?
Neo-noir, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Blade Runner 24. There's a bunch of Blade Runner is noir.
Yeah. That's, pretty obvious, but Looper, huh? All right. Well, anyway, you've got some stuff to choose from.
Here's one that people probably the Batman is a better film.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's a great point. Yeah. Well,
the Batman is both a superhero film noir that was made in the last 10 years.
Did you know the director of photography for Spider-Noir also did The Penguin?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It does look a lot like that. The Penguin is also better than this.
Oh, yeah, it's another noir, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. I really liked Spider-Noir. I think it was great. We obviously disagree on this, but and I think for good reasons. But I declare myself the winner. So go enjoy Spider-Noir.
Don't watch it, guys. It's not
How about,
literally?
How about you watch it?
Comment below and
make up
ask
your own minds.
Monty, this is what I like, and I will literally reply and give you suggestions of things that are better than this movie for you to watch.
What if they say this is what I like about Spider-Noir?
In fact, I just listed a bunch of better noir movies in the last 10 years that are all universally better than this one. So.
Would you say not a movie? Would you say Deus Ex: Human Revolution is noir?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll be playing that soon for the other channel. But.
Yeah, it's not fully noir because it's more conspiracy theory thriller, but has some elements.
Okay,
some elements.
Yeah, great for a game that takes place in 2027. It's happening next year. Well, another movie we're going to speak of another movie we got to talk about later this year is because it's the 40th anniversary. Is the Transformers the movie 1986 animated film? We're definitely watching that this year. But yes. that movie starts with the line, "It is the year 2005." which is awesome. So we're getting
by the way, was less than 20 years from that film's release, so a little weird that they would put it so close to them in terms of time. But
I know. Well, I mean, hey, Deus Ex: Human Revolution took place in 2027. That game came out
15 years.
Yeah. So I mean, Back to the Future.
Well, it came out in 2011, but yes.
Sure. What Back to the Future 2 was 1985, right? Or at least it took place in that year in the movie. And then, then the future stuff was 20 years in the future with 2015 or 30 years. I can't count. But it was 2015 was supposed to be future time with all the flying cars.
Right. Yeah.
We're never going to get flying cars. Flying cars have got to be the dumbest.
Flying skateboards?
I think those are much more likely because flying cars, think about the people you encounter on the roads. The roads on the ground, Monty. Now imagine those people piloting aircraft. Like there's no way flying cars will ever be a thing unless either A, humanity evolves a larger brain that helps them fly well, or B, it's all automated like Sky Waymos, I'd take a Sky Waymo. Have you ridden in a Waymo yet?
Nope.
We're not sponsored by Waymo, but I enjoy it quite a bit. I find it fun.
Next week, we are going to do House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Which I will probably be gloating about because everybody was saying when I was mercilessly glazing House of the Dragon for the last 2 seasons, saying it was better than Game of Thrones. Everybody was saying, "Oh, it's so boring. Nothing's going on." And I kept saying, "Hey, this is leading up into something. You have to actually build the drama. You don't just want to blow your load." And now here's the actual, climax that we're getting. After appropriate buildup, everybody's just like, I want a battle scene every episode. It's like, no, we have to have it have meaning through political intrigue. And so here we are. And now all of a sudden, everybody's all over its nuts, Noah. So we'll see.
I didn't love season 1. I thought season 2 was better. It was getting there. And I watched the first episode of season 3 today, and it was really good. So I'm looking forward to talking about that too.
Yeah. But see, I was all over its nuts from the beginning, Noah.
And dragons are kind of like, scaly Waymos of the sky too. They usually follow your commands, but not always.
But sometimes they randomly run into stuff.
There you go, or fly in circles. Yeah, dragons behaving badly. Anyway, that was the name of my punk band in high school. But I digress. Spider-Noir, go check it out or don't. Either way, let us know what you think about Spider-Noir in the comments.
5 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10.
Ah!
Yeah. Hey,
outrageous.
We disagreed. That's how it goes sometimes here.
Outrageous.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.